we are going to present you Antonio Fernandez Paternina. He's from Colombia. He's a project manager with high technical background. Antonio has a bachelor's degree in informatics, engineering, and 2 postgrad degrees, the first in project management and the second in software engineering. Additionally, he has 5 international certifications. He has knowledge and experience in different technologies, tools, and programming languages. He has more than 11 years of experience in different roles, beginning as a support engineer, developer, data engineer, consultant, CTO, project manager, and assurance director. Thank you, Antonio, and go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Pleased to meet you. I'm going to share my screen. Please, you can confirm me when you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, I'm going to begin now. Today, I'm going to introduce to the story points as a unit of measure in Agile projects. First of all, I want to begin with some basic concepts about project management. After that, I'm going to compare the waterfall life cycle with Agile life cycle in projects. Then I'm going to introduce the story points, the user story, and some techniques and metrics for monitoring and control of progress of our projects. First, according with the Project Management Institute, a project is a temporal effort for the creation of a product, service, or unique result. Product, service, or unique result is a deliverable that which become verifiable. It can be tangible, like in a house or a building, and intangible, like a piece of software, a song, a picture, etc. The temporal effort implies that a project have been done or completed in a period of time defined. And it's the first difference between a project and operational job. These last are activities that should be repetitive as a part of an operation. In the software industry, we develop software in projects, and we need to support our clients with the operation process, delivering new updates, fixing bugs, adding some features, and helping with whatever that our clients need. Then, the waterfall life cycle is known as a traditional project methodology. It's predictable, the scope, time, and budget are completely defined before the beginning of the project. And the changes are very difficult to introduce because they be carefully evaluated through their change management process. And it's more difficult with the progress of the project. The other side, we have agile life cycles that are supported to the high change environment. It can be iterative because we can divide our project in small iterations that can be from 1 week through 4 weeks as a maximum, in my opinion. So the projects can be incremental because in each iteration we add new features or make improvement to a features delivered in a previous iteration, according with the feedback of our clients. And finally, we can combine the best of both worlds in hybrid projects. For example, if I have a government client, we need to finish a product on time and under the budget, like in a waterfall life cycle. But inside the project, we can use agile methodologies for the development of the software. Another example can be if I have a building company and I need to build a house for our client. And I can divide this project in 2 phases. First, the design. We can create the blueprints, the render or 3D model of a house for obtaining a feedback of the client who lives in the house. After the finish this agile and iterative process in the first phase of the project, we can begin using a waterfall approaches for the construction of the house. Now, how can I explain the requirements in agile projects? We use the user stories. Those are a general and informal explanation of a software feature written as a user, as a final user. I'm going to use an example. We are suppose that we have, or we are developing as a e-commerce website for our store. And in this occasion, we need to create a payment button. The structure of this user story can be like the next. First, I need to understand which users are affected with this new feature. In these cases, our clients who buy in our website. After, I need to respond to the question, why deliver value? These new features deliver value because enables the client to buy products under our website. After, I need to make a brief description about the functionality. I need to add a button for make payments in one click. Additionally, I can add some attributes, like, for example, the button must be blue, must be with half sizes, and this be located in this position of the screen, etc. Additionally, I need an acceptance criteria. An acceptance criteria, it's all conditions that the clients need in this product. For example, this button must to accept pays from account banking, credit card, PayPal, etc. And the last, we need a definition of done. This part is for the team members. Is the accord or agreement between the team members that they consider that the feature is completed. One of the most common examples of a definition of done is that the new feature pass all tests in the quality environment. Usually in project, we have 3 environments as a minimum. The developer environments, the quality environment used by the testers, and production environments in which we deliver the product to our client. Now, how we can estimate the efforts for complete these user stories? One of the techniques are the story points. Story point is a metric used in Agile project management to estimate the difficulty of completion of a user story. It's a number to indicate the team the level of difficulty of a user story in terms of complexities, risk, uncertainty, and efforts involved to complete it. And we use the Fibonacci numbers that as a series of numbers to assign a score to our feature. The Fibonacci number is a known series of numbers that is created with the summatory of the both last numbers. This series begins on 0 and 1, and we have the 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. 3 plus 2 is equal to 5, etc. And in this way, we can assign a score. Now, I want to make an analogy with a more tangible activity of our life or our daily activities. I'm going to show an example with using my cooking in story points. I have these plates to prepare, and I'm going to begin with the easier for me. The sandwich. It's a simple sandwich with ham and cheese. It's text. For me, we can complete it in a couple of minutes. It's very easy. I have no uncertainty, I have no risk within, and it's very easy to complete. I decided to put 1 story point. Immediately, this activity becomes in my pivot user story, and it's the reference for future estimations. Now, what happens if I want to prepare more complex plate? Just a more complex, like can be a scrambled eggs. I need the eggs, bacon, butter, etc. And it can be take for me 5 or 10 minutes as a maximum. It's just a bit more complex than the last one. I decided to put it 2 user stories, according with the previous reference point. After I want to prepare a barbecue. A barbecue is a larger process than the above two. But I have no uncertainties here. I know all the tasks that I need to complete for obtain my result, my barbecue. I know that it's larger and involve more effort, but I have no uncertainty. I decided to put 5 story points to this activity. Now, the things are more complex. I have a paella. It's a traditional plate of Spain. And I have no idea really. Honestly, I have no idea how to prepare it. I just know that I need rice, seafood, and vegetables. I need to read recipes before to begin. And I probably need to try many times before obtain a great paella. I have a high level of uncertainty and risk here. For this reason, I decided to put it 13 story points. But what happens if I ask for the preparation of the same plate to a professional Spanish chef? Probably she or he say me, don't worry, it's another day in the work. It's very easy for me. I have no uncertainty and risk in this preparation. And for those chefs, this plate can be 3 story points to complete it because they can prepare it in a short period of time. It's the relative, for this reason, it's a relative unit of measure. Finally, we have the blowfish. It's a Japanese plate that has one problem. These fish have a lot of poison inside it. And the minimum error during the preparation can be fatal for the people who eat it. In my case, it's out of my capacity. I can't prepare it. If we use the same analogy in the software industry, we can think in a project that uses artificial intelligence. Usually we use the artificial intelligence engines for companies like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and we interconnect our systems to those engines. We can the capacity to create an engine like another created by Google. It's very complicated. And it's the one important decision that we need to make. Buy it in-house, buy it or make it in-house, sorry. But it's another topic for another presentation. Now, how can I assign these story points to all user stories in our iteration? At the beginning of an iteration, we celebrate a playing poker meeting. At this meeting, all user stories are socialized, clarified, until have been clearly understood by everyone in the team. After that, each member of the team thinking a Fibonacci number, and all people share their score at the same time. This for avoid that one team member can influence to the rest. And finally, each user story receives a punctuation, and at the end of the meeting, the story points are totalized for each iteration. For example, we can continue with the last example of the payment button in our e-commerce. Now I know that the whole team have been thought in a score. At the same time, they show their scores. Here we can observe three important things. One team member say one story point, while the another say the opposite, 8 story points. I need to ask today why. Why you think is 1, why you think is 8. No for judgment, just for enlighten to the rest of the team the reasons. Maybe they are seeing some that the rest can't. After that, we have 2 important things. We have 3 votes for 3 story points and 2 votes for 5. What do you think is the correct score for this user story? 3 or 5? Always, we need to take the higher in these cases. It's better to have more story points, and at the end, if we have time, add new feature when we can. Now, how can make monitoring and control of our iteration? We are to suppose that we have an iteration of 5 days with 15 story points after the meeting. At the 0 day, the moment of the planning, we have 15 points to complete. And we can use the burn down chart. This is a chart that shows me the total of story points pending to complete. And we have the blue line with the ideal plan. I have 15 story points in 5 days, and I need to complete 3 points each day. And the orange line, it's the real progress of the project. Every day we need to celebrate a daily meeting for make monitoring and control. It's normal that in the first day we have not complete any story point because at the morning we celebrate the meeting, and maybe this monitoring and control meeting is at the afternoon, and maybe the team have no enough time to complete anything in less than 1 day. But in the day 2, we have a problem, or we can have a problem here. We can observe that the story points pending is the same that the last day. And probably we need to remove a blocker or find a solution for a problem that the team. And we need to make decision in real time for avoid problems in the future. After that, resolving the problem, the team can complete user stories after to begin this iteration on time. What's a method that we can use in this kind of estimation process? One of the most important is the velocity. The velocity is the quantity of user story the team are capable to complete in an iteration. It's very important to understand it. And these metrics can be used to convert to a traditional metrics like hour or earned value. This because our sponsor or our client need a report expressed in hours, effort by person, etc. And we need to report today. Then why don't we use hours directly? Why we need to complicate more the process using a relative unit of measure in our project? And I have to show you some reason that I consider that it's very important. First, the iterations should be goal-oriented. We need to motivate our team to make a solution to a problem. We shouldn't think in I need to complete 40 hours of work this week. No, I need to complete a task. I need to make a solution for a problem in the real life. And it's more motivating using the goal-oriented iteration. For example, we need to complete the payment button. The project needs to embrace uncertainty. We can think what can think the people who work in the development of the vaccine of COVID-19 before the beginning. They in their minds have a lot of uncertainty and risk here. But this is their motivation for complete and make a great job for solution a problem in around the whole world. Also, the teams generally are diverse. We have members with different levels of experience, different knowledge. We have senior developers, medium, junior, or even trainees who is in the project just for learning. A user story developed by a senior can be completed in one day, for example. But what happens if the same user story is developed by a junior developer? Maybe he needs 2 days to complete the same work. And it's completely normal in the real life that we find out the situations. And for this reason, it's more recommendable to use this kind of metrics units. Also, in technological and innovation projects, the team usually need time to research. We need to understand troubles. We need to read. We need to make experiments. We need to test things or hypotheses before the beginning. And this time is usually needed at the beginning, especially in these times when our client make requests for things that involve many kind of different complex technologies like cloud computing, artificial intelligence, blockchain, databases, etc. It's impossible that one person knows all this universe of technologies. We usually learn in the process of the creation. And finally, a developer can spend hours finding a bug and just few minutes to solving it. It's happened every day. It's very common in any kind of team. It's normal. And for these reasons, I consider that it's important to use this unit of metrics. I hope that my presentation can be useful for you in your future projects. I'm going to invite you to visit our website, add my contact for more information, and follow me at LinkedIn for make connection using these QR codes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fernando, for your interesting presentation. Let's start with the questions and answer session. I think we have a couple of questions. Please write down your questions in the chat, and we will try to cover all of them. We have the first question from, it's hard to pronounce for me, Eukiriasis. And the question is how these story points are related to the activities in the burn down chart that you just showed.
Okay, I'm watching one question in the chat. The first is the story points only can applicable in software development project, can be used in methodology projects, or Yeah, it's the one question.
No, Antonio, no, the question is, sorry, Hugo, how the story points are related to the activities in the burn down chart.
Okay,
Is
okay.
a previous question, yeah.
Okay, in the burn down chart, we are the totalized of story points for each user story. Generally, we have more than one user story for an iteration. For example, we can have one user story of 5 story points, another for 3, another for 2, and the last for another 5. And we have 4 user story that totalized 15 story points. And when a user story is completed, I can reflect the diminution of pending story points to complete in the burn down chart. And this will be made in everyday meeting reunion.
Thank you. Antonio, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, now, thank you for your answer. We have this second question that you just read because of the talk is entitled
Okay.
about applying these history points to software development. And the question is if you think that we can apply that to metrology projects.
Okay. The story points are a relative unit of measure. Maybe it's originally used for software development project, but as can you see in my previous example, I use cooking for express story points. At the same sense, we can use for every kind of project that we need. We need to understand how it works and apply it. My recommendation is to understand, socialize with your team, and just do it. And I'm sure that you hang on it in a very, very short time.
Thank you, Antonio. Anyone has additional questions? Please write them in the chat.
Yeah, Hugo, I have a question. I was trying to write it to the chat, but it's doing something strange things. Antonio,
Go ahead.
Thank you, Hugo. Antonio, in your experience, in your real life experience, do you have an example that can you provide us to understand how this model, agile model, helps to the companies to improve their capabilities and deliver value? Do you have one example that you can share with us?
Sure. In our company at Quality Data, we use these methodologies in our projects, and we develop value with each iteration that we finished. And the story points are a standard, maybe at the industry. We can find how to assign this score to the user stories in tools like Jira or Azure DevOps. And it's very useful around the world. And with the time, it's more useful, more used in different projects.
Thank you. A final question for me: what challenges do you found applying this kind of agile model in your experience?
Okay, the agile models has a particularly there that is that we need to make engagement with all team. An agile project manager must be a coach and have a strong soft skills. We need to be a mentor, a guide for our team members. We need to serve and work together with our partners, not the typical project manager that be in a higher position. It's my recommendation for all project management agile using agile approaches. We need to the team understand the concepts and apply it. And another key is the the Agile project are founded in the experience and the test and the continuous improvements on each iteration.
Thank you, Antonio. Go ahead, Hugo.
Thank you for your questions,
you.
Aldo. We still have a couple of minutes. If any one of you have any question, please write it down or send it or talk it just as Aldo did. Well, if no questions, thank you very much, Antonio.
There is another question in the chat.
Oh, yes. Are there history points only? No. That's one previous one. I don't see it. Can you read it, please, Francisco?
Yeah. Sorry.
Or
I'm going to
Aldo?
read it.
Yeah, go ahead, Aldo. Sorry.
What is the uncertainty of the story points? I think is the question.
Okay, the uncertainty is we reference when we don't know how to complete a task. For example, the project for create the COVID-19 vaccine has a lot of uncertainty before the beginning. The teams probably need many time to research. In a software project, we can think, and our client asked me for use a technology that I don't know, but I need to deliver value to there. And I need to research and understand how it works. Maybe the client need that the software can understand that the client typed in a text box, and I need to learn about language understanding in text message before the beginning. This is the uncertainty that I referred in the story points estimation process.
Thank you again, Antonio, for the interesting talk and sharing this knowledge. Just to mention, to clarify, probably to the audience, is that the concept of uncertainty is pretty tough in metrology and is more general. This approach that Antonio mentioned, how to consider uncertainty of the numbers of the estimation of the time or the effort that is required to complete the task. So it is I would say a different kind of uncertainty, but we don't have many other words to use. It's just to mention that this estimation has some kind of variability that is not that is strictly random, and it's the same as measure uncertainty, but they don't do this whole processing and analysis of uncertainty as metrology people do. Thank you again very much for this interesting talk, Antonio.